Low income and high taxes with a so-called mini job. Is this possible? And how much taxes do you pay on a so-called mini job? Today we're going to talk about the so-called mini job in Germany and what you have to know about it. So let's just dive into it and welcome back to another video here on G-Tax. My name is Roland Elias and I'm a German tax advisor. So first of all, what is a so-called Minijob? A Minijob oder auch eine sogenannte geringfügige Beschäftigung is a job, for example, for students, spouses, and part-time workers who don't earn more than 565 euros per month. That's the 2025 limit if you have a so-called mini job. It's also a low income job for pupils or for students who want to work a little bit aside classes or something like this. It's also called as geringfügige Beschäftigung. In the most jobs are like in retail, in cleaning, in private tutoring, or for example, in other jobs where you also find students or some people who are working besides education or something like this. So the big question is, if you earn 565 euros per month in Germany in a so-called mini job, do you have to pay taxes? You know it. The answer is yes. For employees in a mini job, they are usually in some kind tax free because for the most people who work in a so-called mini job, it's like gross equals net. That means you wanna earn 565 euros, you get on your bank 565 euros. But the employer has to pay the taxes and for like a flat rate on contribution around 30%, which means taxes, health, and pension funds. These are the deductions you don't really know about because this is paid by your employer and is not withheld from your income. So no taxes, no social security or anything like this is withheld from your mini job. You don't need to file a tax return for this job because this is a flat rate and you don't get a deduction or reduction of your taxes or something like this as you have in a normal job above 2,000 euro per month. But there are some specialties for social security and mini jobs. If you say, oh yeah, I want to pay something into my pension funds, for example, then there's a deduction of 3.6%, which will be deducted, but you can opt out of this. This means you don't have to pay it, and I would rather say around about 99% of all the people who are having mini jobs are not paying pensions because they say, I want the money, I want to work with the money myself and don't have any, went into pensions or something like this because there is the investment, payment is not as good as if you have it yourself. But you also have to know that mini jobs do not provide a full health coverage because it's only a side job, and only if you're a full employer, then you have a full covered health insurance and some others like work-related insurances and something like this. The other ones don't have this. But there's a difference. What if you want to earn more than 565 euros? Then it's these exceptions only are for 565 euro or so-called 450 Euro jobs. It's the history for about more than 10 years ago. It started with 450 euros. If you want to earn more, then there's like progression in the system, which is normally treated like a regular employment, but it's not with full tax and social charges. It goes up to until 2,000 euros. It's called midi job. And this is like working more, but don't get taxed and deducted with all the social securities and something like this. So you're entitled to a mini job if you say, okay, I want to work somewhere else besides the main job or something like this, or besides classes or anything like this. Then you can you normally say, okay, I wanna get this job. Normally you're paid on vacation and sick leave, but most mini jobs are paid hourly. That means if you don't work, you don't get any money. That's the easy way. In 2025, there are around about 13 euros. You have the minimum wage. That's also important for so-called mini jobs. But the hours you work have to be must be tracked fully. And this is very important because this will be checked by the pension system in Germany. So don't underestimate these situations. So if you're an expat from abroad and like to work in Germany, then these so-called mini jobs are the most common possibility for you to get a foot into a business and say, okay, I have the option to work a little bit besides, for example, university or school, or working besides a full-time job. It's the possibility. So, do you have any questions left on the so-called mini job? Then just keep it up in the comments below. Hit the follow button and we will see us again. I wish you a very good day. Bye bye.